Okay, so let's jump right into a question that honestly sounds like it's from another planet. How on earth does an animal born the size of a jelly bean, and I mean, it's basically a crawling embryo, survive inside a pouch that's just full of bacteria? You'd think it would be impossible, but the answer reveals this absolutely incredible story of biological engineering. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll look at the sheer vulnerability of these little guys, the whole jelly bean against the world problem. Then we'll get into nature's brilliant two-part plan to keep them alive. We're going to watch as their immune system gets built from the ground up in a kind of high-stakes boot camp and see how it all comes together just in the nick of time. And finally, we'll touch on the mysteries that scientists are still trying to solve. All right, first things first. To really get this, we have to understand the problem. Just how fragile, how underdeveloped is a newborn marsupial? I mean, this is really the core puzzle, right? A marsupial is born so early in its development. It literally has to crawl to its mother's pouch, find a teat, and then just hang on. All of this in an environment that is anything but sterile. Without a working immune system, this should be an absolute death sentence. When you put them side by side like this, it really hits you. Look at the newborn marsupial. It has just enough development in its tiny jaws and front legs to crawl and to eat. That's it. But immunologically, it's a total blank slate. No mature immune tissues, no real immune cells. It can't fight off anything specific. Now compare that to a newborn human who comes, pre-installed with much more complete defensive toolkit. The difference between them is just staggering. So, given this massive vulnerability, how does nature solve the problem? Well, it turns out it has this brilliant two-part strategy. Part one is what you could call a borrowed shield. Mom provides passive immunity, mostly through her milk, basically lending her own defenses to the baby. But part two, that's where our story really gets interesting. It's this incredible race against time, where the newborn has to build its entire immune system from scratch, all while living inside the pouch. And that's really what we're digging into here. Don't get me wrong, that borrowed shield from mom is absolutely crucial. But the truly mind-blowing part is the biological sprint the joey itself has to run. It's like a high-speed assembly line, building one of the body's most complex defense systems after it's already been born. So where does this assembly line even begin? Well, it starts with the command center, the first and most critical piece of the puzzle to come online. And that command center is the thymus. If you think of the immune system as an army, the thymus is basically the officer training school. It's where these super important cells, the T cells, go to get educated, to mature and learn how to tell the difference between the body's own cells and dangerous invaders. Without a functioning thymus, the rest of the army is pretty useless. And here's the thing. It has to happen in a specific order. The thymus absolutely must develop first because it's the source. It has to train up all those T-cell officers before it can send them out to populate the other immune outposts, like the spleen and lymph nodes. It's all a very precise, step-by-step process. Just look at the quokka to see how fast this happens. On day one, the thymus is just this basic clump of cells. But then, get this, by day 10, just 10 days later, we're already seeing the first signs of advanced structures. That tells us the machinery to make antibodies is starting to come online. By day 30, the core structure is there. And in just 3 to 4 months, it's essentially a fully formed adult-level organ. We are talking about an absolutely explosive rate of development. Okay, so the training school is open for business and churning out trained cells. The next step is to actually staff the rest of the defense network. And these are the secondary lymphoid tissues. So to keep our analogy going, if the thymus is the officer school, then the spleen and lymph nodes are the outposts and barracks scattered throughout the body. This is